Hi, and welcome to the Battle of Vimy Ridge, an educational experience. Vimy Ridge is an area in France that became the site of a grueling battle between the Canadian forces and the German forces in World War I. Germans had always occupied Vimy Ridge territory, and Canada was now going to try to get it back. At dawn on Easter Monday, April 9, 1917, the Canadians began their infantry assault on the Germans. Roughly 15,000 Canadian soldiers stormed the ridge against approximately 5,000 German soldiers. The noise from the battle was so loud that they could hear it over 100 miles away in southern England. By the afternoon of the same day, April 9, 1917, the Canadians managed to take 3 out of 4 of their objectives. The fourth objective was taken by April 12, 1917, which is still an amazing feat considering that the Canadian forces did this all by themselves without any other Allied help. Unfortunately, it did come at a cost. Canada lost 3,598 soldiers at the Battle of Vimy Ridge, while they had 7,004 wounded. The German casualties are unknown. However, this still is an amazing feat for Canada, as it set the stage for Canadian independence and nationhood. So why were the Canadians so successful? Well, basically it's because they were better prepared for this battle than for any other. One of the tactics that they used was called the vimy glide, which basically is just a creeping barrage. And that's where you have the soldiers moving at the exact same time that you're firing your heavy artillery at the Germans. And basically what it does is it leaves the Germans unaware that an attack is coming. The Canadians also provided maps to all of their soldiers before the battle began, and this had never been done in the history of World War I. The Canadians also built a replica of the ridge so they could practice tactics before they went into battle. Canadians also built subterranean passages underground where they could lay communication lines, and it allowed for them to be able to hear exactly what was going on. The Canadians also were the first ones to have a plan of attack. And what they said was that the Canadians would attack the machine guns instead of just attacking the people at the other side. And what that does is it takes out the most deadly weapon of World War I, allowing them to take the ridge quickly.
Let's take a look at what Vimy Ridge looks like today. In the background of this picture you can see a lot of different rolling hills. These actually aren't natural to the area. In fact, they were created from the artillery bombardments that occurred during World War I, just showing you some of the devastation that the war had on the landscape. Also in the background you can see a recreated trench. Up at the front here you can see this cement piece, and that's actually a pillbox. And a pillbox was something that was created by the Germans. And basically what they would do is they would hide their machine guns in one of these devices. And they did this to protect it because it was the most deadly weapon of World War I. So you'd have about 3 soldiers in one of these pillboxes, and they'd basically just shoot their machine gun out of this little opening here. If you take a look at this picture, you can see a giant crater. And this was probably created either from artillery bombardment or from an underground explosive. You can see just how massive it is by looking at the perspective of the people right up at the front here. Now this is just showing you how the landscape still is being affected by World War I. Just showing you here the fact that there is still danger in the area because of all the different undetonated explosives from World War I. This is it. This is the Vimy Ridge Memorial. It's massive and it's beautiful, and it is basically representing a memorial place for all those who fought, served, died in World War I. This was actually created by a man named Walter Seymour Allward, and it took over 11 years to build. Each is a pillar, and they represent both France and Canada. What's also interesting is on one of the side pillars there is an engraving, and it says, "To the valor of their countrymen in the Great War, and in memory of their 60,000 dead, this monument is raised by the people of Canada." This is just showing you again from the front what the Vimy Ridge Memorial looks like. This is actually at the very top of the memorial, one of the different sculptures that's been created. There are many different sculptures all around the memorial, all representing things like valor and courage. Here's a couple at the eastward side of the building, just showing you again the mourning, valor, courage, bravery of all of our soldiers who fought in World War I. This is at the east side of the building, and this person is called the mourner, and she basically is the representation of Canada mourning her dead. And here it is from the back side, the east side, showing you again the 2 pillars, and this is the mourner right here. If you take a look at the people here, you can just see how large this monument actually is. This is the tomb that's also on the eastward side of the building, basically just memorializing all the people in the area. This is one side of the building, and as you can see there's lots of names engraved, and what the people of Canada did is they actually put the names of the 11,285 Canadian soldiers who were killed and had no known resting place for World War I. So that's what Vimy Ridge looks like today, and it is definitely a moment for Canadians because it is what set the stage for Canada's nationhood, and that's why this is such an important place for us and why we have such an important and significant monument.
Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races.